Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. We are here today to talk about the terror that is coming to Street Fighter 6, the nightmare, the horror that looms over us all, and that is Elena, who is our next and final DLC character of Season 2 coming to Street Fighter 6. And we've talked about it in another recent video, but she might be appearing a little bit earlier than you think. Specifically, we might even get our first peek at her come this Sunday at the Capcom Cup. No guarantees, naturally, but unlike last year, where Capcom went out of their way to tell people don't expect anything, they made no such assurances this time around, meaning, well, there's probably going to be something for Street Fighter 6. So, Elena might be earlier than we think, but we'll find out one way or another, but she is the next DLC character. And why are we talking about her in this video? Well, Elena, some people will point fingers at her saying she killed Street Fighter 4. And if you want to take that at face value, well, there's lots of reasons for it. But one reason sort of pokes its head above the rest. And that is the notorious healing. So let's talk about why Elena was so feared in some of the older games, and what can we expect out of her in Street Fighter 6? Will she be as dominant? Well, I guess never say never, but probably not, especially on the healing front, where it's just not really going to work out the same way. At least it probably shouldn't. Let's put it that way. So I know everyone loves to lose their mind over healing before anything else, so we'll start there, and why she's generally considered a strong character, and then we'll talk about just everything else Street Fighter 6 related. But yeah, healing, it was pretty ridiculous, admittedly. So now to talk about healing. What was the problem with healing exactly? Because the thing about healing is it was a very uniquely issue in Street Fighter 4 specifically, because she had it in Street Fighter 3. Healing was one of her supers, but it didn't break the game or nothing. It healed you, sure, and it had the trait of quick heal as well, just like does Street Fighter 4. But the thing is, it was tied to your meter, right? In Street Fighter 3, if you spend any EX moves at all, and with Elena you probably are, that means no healing for you. And versus it being separate in Street Fighter 4, Ultra and Super are two different things. You don't have to hold back on your EX bar to still get your Ultra, right? So that was issue number one. As you can see here, I hit the buttons, healing, sure, whatever, and she heals. And that's all well and good. There's a few things about it here. One of the things is the focus attack system. So I can focus moves, get great health, recover my health, and still get that Ultra bar. So I can, quote unquote, take damage that was never truly taken to begin with, still be at the same health, and then get a giant amount of my Ultra bar figured out, and then convert that into a heal, right? So that's obviously not an option in Street Fighter 3, nor will it be an option in Street Fighter 6 the same way. Just the idea of focusing like a fireball or two can hugely skew the round in terms of Ultra generation. And for her and the Ultra, she didn't need to land the cool big combo, get the Ultra, whatever, wake up, whatever. She could easily get it in most situations. Say she got a back throw, right? You can do that, heal, cancel real quick. Unstoppable. No one can stop you from doing this. And on a lot of combos that have EX spin kicks and all that, you can go for full heal, and most of the catch can't even touch you for attempting that, right? So there's just a lot of situations where she can get a small or big heal, and given that it's so easy to generate that bar, that's why that was a big deal. Given Ultra is its own separate mechanic, completely different from your EX and Super, compared to Street Fighter 3, this is what healing wound up being uniquely a threat, right? And obviously more life equals more better. She's an incredibly sound fundamentals footsies based character, and that's a big deal in Street Fighter 4, as many characters were neutral footsies based characters. A friend of mine once wisely put it that your health bar is your mistake bar, right? And if you get to refill your mistake bar in a game where, just jabs are so powerful and she has one of, if not the best in the game, that is a huge deal. And the other thing that made Elena just such an annoying character in Street Fighter 4 specifically, because once again, Street Fighter 3, she's not a character people talk about, right? Other than she's cool. And hey, it's cool to be cool, but being strong is a different deal. Her crouching light punch here. I know it's a kick, but it's a punch, right? This is so strong. So it links into itself. So easy hit confirms. Also, the range on this is incredible for what it is. Like absolutely nutso. And it also naturally links into crouch medium kick. So even from like absolute maximum range here, I can still tag you with that medium, right? And when you know it, medium goes into spin kicks. And in a game where jab hit confirms are so powerful, she had some of the best ones, right? Her buttons just were really fantastic across the board. She had good normals, good command normals. Stuff like her EX overhead is mostly unseeable. And naturally enough, you can combo after it. And also, you can combo into it, right? So, like, she was just really good doing, like, the basics and dumping bar and getting big extended combos and all that kind of stuff. Just that, and once again, the range on some of the most important buttons in the game for her are just absolutely ridiculous. Her links are really good, right? Like, she just kind of had everything for the kind of game Street Fighter 4 was. And once again, did she kill Street Fighter 4? I don't know if she killed Street Fighter 4, but she was definitely tailor-made to play Street Fighter 4 very, very well. And obviously, Street Fighter 6 is not Street Fighter 4. For good and for ill, I guess you could argue, but it's definitely a very different kind of game. And what makes you good at Street Fighter 4 isn't going to be the same. Like, just having good buttons isn't enough to be good in Street Fighter 6, for example. It's really nice to have, for sure, but it's not the be-all, end-all if you're just a wall of really strong normals. This is Street Fighter 6, y'all. This is one crouch medium kick, drive rush cancel away, into, you know, combo, into corner, into throw loop, into death. We're not going to spend the whole round throwing buttons at each other in neutral, like Street Fighter 4. Another thing, very big for Street Fighter 6, is there's 3 supers. Everyone has the level 1, the level 2, and a level 3 super, right? It's not just you pick the one, like Street Fighter 3, like Street Fighter 4. Well, I guess there's doubles, whatever. You know what I mean for Street Fighter 4 Ultras, right? It's not just the same system. And naturally, healing, if it were to be a real threat, healing would have to be the level 3, and it won't be. Many characters, if they have a super that's not just doing damage, a utility super, it's usually going to be their level 2. And for a lot of the characters that have the good level 2s, that's generally where they want to spend the bar. So it still may very well be the case that she has healing, it's level 2, and maybe it's good enough that you want to focus most of your meter on it, like many of the culprits here that just have the exceptional level 2s, right? Going to be the focus of your meter, but I don't know, it just can't work the same way just because you can't charge it as fast. Like, charging it as fast as you did was the reason why it was so strong in Street Fighter 4. And you can't charge meter faster than the ways to normally charge meter. And once again, if you spend it, if you spent it in Street Fighter 4, she still had all of her EX bars, all of her super to work with, and everything just works differently in this game. So unless they're really dumb about it, it just can't be the same. So I'm not too worried. Now, I've seen some people voice the premise that her healing could heal her drive gauge, which certainly is a way to go about it. Like, Jamie in recent patches has been able to heal his drive gauge through drinking, and that's a way to go about it. And I suppose it's not impossible. This healing will certainly persist in some form as it's a signature of the character. Just don't expect it to be broken, mostly because they just don't want it to be broken. There's no value in purposely breaking in the game like they did with Arcade Edition Street Fighter 4 when they purposely made Yun overpowered for fun. But now I'm going to pose to you an interesting question, one I don't have an answer for, but just something to watch out. Because Elena, God bless her, and God bless all the Elena fans out there. When it comes to gameplay, she's about as interesting as a glass of room temperature water. Like, she is just an average character in terms of what she's capable of. Like, she has good buttons. She does good, there's nothing fancy about her. One of the things that Street Fighter 6 specifically did is the characters that were a bit more vanilla, they gave them some extra sass. Like DJ. DJ now can shoot 2 fireballs regularly. Now he has all the feint stuff and all the stuff that comes out of his step that he never had before. Someone like Bison. Bison now has the whole psycho mine mechanic and the detonations, right? They're giving an additional layer of flavor, character, gameplay-wise, that they never had before. And then you come back to Elena, and like, her stage will be the best stage out of the gate, sure. Like, we're getting the Africa stage with her, and I don't know what it looks like, but she's always had the best stages. Just in Street Fighter general, Africa stage always looks great, and I expect to look great here, right? But like, she's just got a bunch of kicks, and her specials are all just a bunch of kicks. Like, there's very little flash to her, right? Like, I'm sure she'll be animated great. I'm sure her model will look fantastic, but there's very little wow factor unless you add something new. So what will that new thing be done? A lot of the characters are getting gimmicks added to them, right? A character's gimmick is one of the defining things of how they work in Street Fighter 6, because there's so much universal systems with all the drive gauge stuff and all the drive mechanics. Hell, maybe the gimmick is she has passive healing now or something like that. She'll just heal throughout the course of the match like she's Wolverine or something. I don't know, right? But a gimmick being added, whatever it may be, seems very likely, or at least a change up to this system, because like she has Mallet Smasher, she'll have Rhino Horn, right? She'll have flippy kicks, like she'll have like the base moveset. Her moveset hasn't really changed from Street Fighter 3 to Street Fighter 4. And I just don't see her just existing the vanilla version that she is going into Street Fighter 6. Everyone's getting upgraded with something, right? That's just how it is. It's a new era, it's a new game. And she'll definitely, just because she's so vanilla at her core, have to get something new and special to make her stand out. She's the character you got to pay money for, after all, right? And frankly, I couldn't even begin to guess. All I know is Capcom's very inventive. Now, like many other characters, I guess we can look to the Omega edition of Elena in Street Fighter 4 for some ideas, although for the most part, they're not too inventive. Like EX Rhino Horn can juggle into uppercut. That was pretty cool. Like, you'll probably see combos like that in Street Fighter 6, kind of a standard thing. But they changed her super. So instead of the regular super, they gave her this. And what's really interesting about this super specifically, because it's not in base Street Fighter 4, only in Omega, is it has like a vacuum effect. Like, it pulls you in against your will. And also has an incredibly fast startup. So a vacuum / gravity effect, that's interesting. I'd almost say you like, oh, she's calling the wind against you, but we already have 2 wind characters, right? We have Lily and Rashid. We don't need a third person going in on that gimmick, right? But the idea of the push and maybe pull, that is something that could definitely work out as an interesting gameplay mechanic. Also, specifically, what's very interesting about the Super and Omega mode is it's directly cancelable into your Ultra. So you can take the hit, cancel the hit into your Ultra, and you can go right into full healing, get a full heal out of it too, right? Ultra 1 or 2 doesn't matter. So that's obviously very Street Fighter 4 specific rules, but it is interesting because, you know, it was very different from how the core base game worked. So maybe she can chain supers together. Maybe she'll have a push-pull mechanic. I don't know. Maybe it'll be nothing of the sort, but definitely expect something out of the norm from her base vanilla core move set in Street Fighter 6. If nothing, just to make her more flashy and more enticing for you to spend your money on her. Oh yeah, the other thing while we're on Omega mode, they did change her uppercut into friggin' Genocide Cutter out of nowhere, like the thing Rugal does. So keeping with the big SNK lovin', maybe they'll keep that and keep the Genocide Cutter intact. And, you know, Elena being Elena, maybe she tamed Rugal's heart. If she can make friends with Akuma of all characters, certainly she can make friend of all the Orochi crew and all the Orochi characters, right? But that's where we're at right now, right? There's definitely going to be some sort of new mechanic added, some new flashy stuff for her. And the Demon of Healing, I'm sure healing will be in the game, some way, some form, just because it's an iconic part of the character. But I don't expect it, well, okay, I hope it won't dominate the game, at least anyways. I guess we'll see. Maybe, like, a month after she's launched, I'll be making the video like, is Elena killing the game? Or something. I don't know. We'll find out come the time. The other question, which maybe deserves its own video, is keep in mind, she only kicks, right? So Zangief, is this going to be like a 9-1 match for Zangief? Because Gief can just keep kick countering because everything's going to be a kick. Did they think that through? Will she finally start punching people? Is Gief versus Elena the first unwinnable matchup of Street Fighter 6? I guess we'll find out. But for now, my friends, that is the video. Look forward to Capcom Cup. It's right around the corner, and there'll be a lot of good news and fun, exciting announcements, hopefully. And I'll cover everything on the channel as they happen. Until then, that's the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.